Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/today I effed up, and as per usual, I'll be reading the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get right into it. One Metal Batman. Today I effed up by emptying a 3-hole punch waste tray. Well, this happened a few days ago, but the consequences just arrived moments ago. I work in a small office of only 3 to 4 people. My boss replaced our crummy printer with a brand new printer 3 months ago. It was a remarkable printer, perhaps too heavy duty for the amount of printing we do, but a welcome upgrade. One thing I was not fond of regarding this new printer was how it sounded when opening the doors to replace toner, fix paper jams, or conduct any other maintenance duties. I'm used to office equipment doors that softly click when I open or shut them. This new printer made harsh cracks and snaps when opening or closing anything, and it often required such force that I'd be afraid I was trying to open something that doesn't open. One pleasant feature of our new printer was that it could 3-hole punch anything we printed. I used this quite a bit. Last Monday I forgot to take my ADHD meds, my mind kinda jumps from task to task at random, and even though I hadn't used the 3-hole punch feature of the printer that day, I thought to myself, I should figure out how to dispose of the 3-hole punch circles in the printer. I opened a few of the doors of the printer, searching for a waste tray. Couldn't find it. Searched on YouTube for instructions, found a model close enough to my printer, seemed simple enough to empty. I found a black tray, but it was screwed shut. I thought that it was weird that a hole punch waste tray would be screwed shut, but shrugged it off. I was really determined to dispose of those hole punches. After I unscrewed it, the tray only came out a little bit. Again, most things with this printer required a suspicious amount of force to open in the first place, so I just rolled with it. Crack! I immediately realized that this was not the 3-hole punch waste tray, and that I fucked up. I tried pushing the tray back in, which made even more cracking noises, and got it just barely into a position that I could screw it back in. I closed all the doors and exited out of the maintenance notice message on the screen of the printer. I tried to print something, and it made some awful noises, but it started to work until the end. The paper wouldn't come all the way out of the printer. It would jam up every time. It would print just fine, but the paper would get all crinkled up and stuck every time. I was the only one in the office at the time, so I just made the responsible decision to ignore it, without telling a soul. I came into work yesterday morning and everybody was there. I was hoping we could go a day without any printing, but within 20 seconds of me sitting down, I heard the printer going. My desk is right next to the printer, the other 3 office rooms are further down the hall, so I guess they didn't hear it, so I pretended not to hear it as well. Then I heard the printer going again, and my boss walked to retrieve his papers. He unjammed the paper and asked if I had any issues with the printer the past few days. I told him I did, but thought it was just a random paper jam. He started inspecting the printer, but couldn't figure out what the issue was. He had me call for an inspection. The maintenance guy just left about an hour ago, and this fucking asshole told my boss that there's no way it was a manufacturing error. Someone had to have broken this part with force. My boss looked at me and asked me if I did something to the printer. I lied by telling him that I did when I was trying to fix the paper jam issue yesterday, and that I maybe accidentally bumped something I wasn't supposed to. I don't know why I lied. I'm generally honest. I guess I thought I was in too deep to turn around. Anyway, gonna cost $600 and $900 to repair. We're using the old one for now. Additionally, I just found the 3-hole punch tray and it was only about 5% full. Too long didn't read. I attempted to empty my new office printer's 3-hole punch paper waste tray, but broke an expensive part of the printer instead. Edit, guys, I don't actually think the maintenance guy is an asshole. It was supposed to be a joke. I was pretending to be mad at him for exposing me. He was nice and smelled like cinnamon rolls. I also told my boss I broke it before I left today, and he told me he was getting it fixed under warranty. He laughed and called me an idiot. God, the ADHD side quest is just so goddamn relatable. And what's even more relatable is fucking breaking the side quest on the path of trying to get it done. Like, I've done that way too many times and tried to fix something but just made it like 10 times worse in the process of trying to do so. So I completely understand that. Like, it's painful because every mistake that OP made along the way is something that I could see myself doing. And it's also something that I could see myself telling myself, hey dumbass, don't do this, we're gonna break something. No, it's fine. It makes sense for the 3-hole punch thing to be here, right? The screw is just there as like a gasket seal or something like that, so that way little paper circles that don't get caught in the machinery. That makes sense, I tell myself before fucking breaking the internals of the printer. I can just imagine OP sitting at his desk and hearing the printer whirling up and just the grinding and scraping of the gears and just sitting there awkwardly having to listen to that not once, but twice, and know that what's going on is entirely his fault. Posted by Hookman. Today I effed up by using my iPhone as a hammer. The police were not amused. So, maybe not my brightest hour. I just wanted to get a nail out of the drywall and it would not budge. I had the idea if I could knock it in, maybe that would loosen it and it would come out easier. Too lazy to walk a flight of steps, I thought, I'll just use my phone to tap it in. The good news is that it worked. The nail went in, I grabbed it with my fingernails, got a good grip, and it came all the way out. Woohoo! The bad news is that it apparently triggered the accident setting on the phone and called 911. I would have thought that it would have made a sound while doing that, but it didn't. I guess I did not hear the 911 operator answering. About 10 minutes later, the police are knocking on the front door. 2 cruisers in the driveway and an EMT ambulance pulling up. They were on alert as they thought it might be a kidnapping/domestic violence issue. After we all figured out what happened, we had a good laugh. Not. If it happens again, I'll be fined and maybe charged. Lesson: don't use your phone as a hammer. Should have been obvious. Too long didn't read, used my iPhone for very light hammer work, set off the accident trigger, police/ambulance show up. Police not amused. So what I will say is that I think it's unlikely this was the crash detection that went off because that thing is loud as hell. And it's probably more likely he triggered a different form of the emergency services to be activated on his phone. I mean, hell, if you tell Siri a combination of numbers, it'll call 911. I remember in high school when I had a hand-me-down iPhone with Siri, one of my friends like, hey, Oz, check this out. Takes my phone, activates Siri, says the numbers, and then she starts calling 911. And that was not a fun panic attack to get in the middle of Spanish class, let me tell you what. So I wouldn't be surprised if OP somehow managed to find a way to trigger the iPhone emergency services without using the vehicle detection systems, or perhaps maybe it was bugged on his phone. But either way, that's all besides the case. And of all the nearby items to potentially use as a hammer, your phone? Really, dude? Nothing like potentially using a $1,000 one-time use hammer to drive a single nail in. But honestly, I can't even blame you because I've done stupid shit before, where I've gone and be like, this is the dumbest idea I could possibly have, and this will only go wrong. But that annoying little voice in my head's like, no, everything's gonna be alright, I promise you. So then I do the thing. And the exact thing that I was worried about happens. And then I'm just left thinking, why the hell did I do that? I knew this was going to happen, but I did it anyways, god damn it. So yeah, I've been there, I've done that, but maybe not using my phone as a hammer kind of ridiculous. Benji Fenwick. Today I effed up by renaming someone's dog. Today I fucked up by renaming somebody's dog. So I was at a celebration of life and a few family members I had never met were there. These people brought their dog. I didn't know whose dog he was. I was swimming as a celebration of life was at a lake, and the dog comes up to me. He didn't have a name on his collar, so I looked at him and decided he looked like Apollo. So I started calling him Paulo. I did this for the 3-day celebration until one of the owners saw what I was doing and asked why I was calling him Paulo. I said no one told me his name and he looks like Apollo. They told me his name was Benjamin. I said sorry, he had been listening to Paulo, so I just went with it. They asked what I meant, so I walked away and called for him using Paulo. He ran right over and sat down. They then tried to call him using Benjamin. He didn't move. They tried again. Nothing. Twice more they tried. Nothing. Then they said Paulo, and he ran right over. They gave him a middle name of Paulo that day. I'll probably never see them again, but I'll forever know their dog is now Benjamin Paulo because of me. Mini update, I was just informed he was a rescue and they changed his name to Benjamin when they got him. Maybe his name was Paulo all along. Too long didn't read, at a celebration of life there was a dog I didn't know. I couldn't find his name and called him Paulo. He then wouldn't respond to his actual name, and his name had to be changed from Benjamin to Benjamin Paulo. My guess would be Paulo's original name was probably very, very close or similar to Paulo when he was younger. In fact, this is definitely a bit of a messy story, but when I was around 9, my mom's bulldog managed to get out from the backyard. And someone decided that they would go and scoop the dog up and then sell my mom's dog in a Walmart parking lot. The college girl who bought my mother's dog, not realizing it was stolen, had named her Ella. My mom's dog's original name was Bella. So of course this 19-year-old girl who bought a bulldog from the Walmart parking lot was honestly floored to find out, wow, this dog learned their name so quickly. Ella. Not realizing the unfortunate truth behind it. Long story short, officers were called to a scene where a dog was locked inside of a hot car. And it turns out that dog was actually Bella. And when they had ran the chip in the back of her neck, they found, oh, this is someone else's dog. And, after she was questioned, they found out that she had just purchased the dog from the Walmart parking lot and didn't really have any fault behind it. It couldn't really do much besides return Bella to her rightful owners. I actually remember the moment my mom actually got the call because we were in line at Subway and I was getting my ham and cheese sandwich. Once upon a time, I was a very picky eater. And my mom had gotten the call while we were waiting for them to finish making my sandwich. And I remember the pure excitement on her face before she told me. Anyways, my point being is that my guess would be is that Paulo probably once upon a time had a very similar name to Paulo, and once he heard someone say something that was extremely close or similar, was delighted to hear his name repeated once more and was probably over the goddamn moon about it. And Paulo probably no longer had any interest whatsoever of responding to the name Benjamin ever again. Posted by It's Just Josiah. Today I effed up by getting in a baby's face and loudly crying because he rage baited me. 17 male. I am not a mature person. For months, my little brother, 5 male, has been essentially rage baiting me, chucking shoes at my head with amazing accuracy. Seriously. He should be in sports, not in timeout, but that's besides the point. He will run into my room if I leave it unlocked and try to break my stuff. Last week, my doorknob. Anything to get attention, even going as far as to force himself to throw up and tell me to clean it. Locking me outside when I'm cleaning the garage. No punishment works because he finds it fun. I used to be a horrid kid in my childhood, but chilled out in my preteens, so I got good at predicting his moves when he's pissed. I just imagine him as past me. He already broke a TV, his tablet several times, my sister's laptop, my mom's screen, my Switch's Joy-Con, so I'm prepared now. I tried the gentle parenting method, but after a while my patience is running thin. While my grandmother, who's our temporary guardian, claims she couldn't hear or see him chucking shoes at me and him yelling, "I hate you!" even though she was right next to me, she barely punished him. So, I chased him up the stairs. He started crying and calling for Grandma. So, when I backed off out of guilt, he would stop crying immediately, then keep it up again. So, like the responsible older brother, I backed him into the same corner and told him to knock it off. He started fake crying. Then, I was so mad, any sense of reason left my body. I said, "I ain't new to this, I can cry too." I squatted to his eye level and did the most obnoxious cry I could do. I did the classic big inhale cry, then beautifully transitioned it into the classic wah before I broke character and started laughing. We deadass started harmonizing. He started crawling backwards and I was walking towards him while we were both crying at each other. He was mad and freaked out to snitch on me to our grandmother, but I swear I saw him crack a smile. I remember crying so much as a kid that I knew how to do it in a way to annoy people the most. Long note, then random scream at random intervals. Like, "Wow!" It's better than straight up screaming so your ears can't fully adjust. When she came to confront my brother, comfort, I said, "Ha! Crocodile tears." My grandmother said I'm almost 18 and I'm being an asshole to a baby who apparently looks up to me. Whenever he does something to me, she doesn't care unless it affects her. But the second I retaliate, she immediately notices. She has a short fuse with me now, but I was ready to burn that bridge anyway. I had the same thing happen with my sister, 18 female, growing up when we argued. I told my sister what I did and she started laughing when I told her. Thank God I'm getting a dorm. Was I acting like an ass? Okay, yeah, but a justified ass. Don't get me wrong, it sounds like you've perfected acting like a 5-year-old and used it against a child that honestly is kinda all over the place. It definitely makes me wonder or ask a lot of questions as to what's going on at home, especially with the grandmother being the temporary guardian, and the fact that your brother definitely seems to have a lot of behavioral issues stirring up, but on top of that, this just sounds like sibling bullshit shenanigan behavior. And yeah, if I had a younger sibling and the guardian of said younger sibling was throwing shoes at me and just causing just general nuisances in my life and I couldn't really do anything about it, besides this, I'd probably break and join in OP's shoes. I don't even think I can blame him. Yeah, in this situation, we'd both be the asshole, but, well, or at least an asshole in this situation. It's a justified cause. But out of curiosity, for those of you who have had either older siblings or younger siblings, have y'all ever done or experienced something similar to this? Because I'd love to hear what kind of shenanigans or bullshit y'all got up to. Also, real quick, because I probably should add this at some point in the video, please don't take my commentary or any jokes or quips I make about the post as being 100% serious or 100% gospel, because this entire subreddit is kind of acting as a palate cleanser for me, and hopefully for y'all too, because I feel like the past couple of weeks/months have just been a lot of negativity, and I'd like for some goofy things that are low stakes that we can all laugh at and have a good time over. So please, let's just enjoy the posts, enjoy the screw-ups, and have some fun. Posted by Xanax Giggles. Today I effed up by accidentally trauma bonding with my boss's dog and now he follows me home. So, my boss brought his dog to the office. Cute golden retriever named Max. Everyone was petting him, giving him treats, whatever. I stayed chill. I don't trust dogs that trust everyone. Then, lunchtime hit. I was having a rough day. I sat in the break room alone, eating sad pasta and listening to Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. Max walks in, looks at me, lays his head on my lap like he knows. I start talking to him. Not baby talk, full on, life's hard bro, huh? type beat. He sighs. For 20 minutes, we just sit there in mutual emotional exhaustion. I think I cried a little. Anyway, now he follows me around the office, growls at HR, tries to get in my car when I leave. Today, he brought me his leash. My boss is annoyed. His wife says Max sleeps near the door now and seems distant. I think I emotionally hijacked their family dog. Do I return him, or is this joint custody now? Too long didn't read, had a sad moment in the break room, boss's dog confronted me, and now he emotionally imprinted on me. Dog might be mine now. So besides the fact that Max growling at HR is based as fuck, buddy, you might have depression. Max might actually just sense the fact that you are in severe emotional distress and is trying to comfort you. So, I think Max is just worried about you, bud. Maybe this is a really good learning opportunity that you should probably go get yourself checked out with a doctor or something, because, damn, bro. Also, I don't mean to be super nitpicky here, but that is not the correct use of trauma bonding. I know that it's a very commonly misused term where two people have the same trauma and they bond over it, but that's not what that actually means. Unfortunately, what trauma bonding actually is when you bond with your abuser over the trauma they've essentially caused to you. I'm sure that someone in the comments can probably properly explain this because I'm certainly not even close to being qualified to do so, but saying that you trauma bonded with your dog can mean two entirely different things to two entirely different people. So please, in the future, be careful about saying that. And the only reason why I bring this up is because I've made this mistake. I made the joke about, oh yeah, we're trauma bonding, followed by a very long and awkward conversation where they explained to me what I just said, and the awkward horror which followed that of, oh god, that is not what I meant at all. And if you're just learning this for the first time, no worries at all. I'm sure a lot of people are. But if you are more familiar with this, what is the, actual correct term for two people bonding or strengthening their non-abusive relationship over a shared trauma? What would that be called? Because it is most certainly not trauma bonding. And saying you've trauma bonded with a dog definitely has some pretty nasty implications. Oh god. KEYZ Cranberry 951. Today I effed up by making my girlfriend think I was cheating on her when I was actually planning a surprise. Alright, this actually happened over the weekend and I'm still a bit shaken and relieved writing this. So my girlfriend, 25 female, and I, 26 male, have been together 3 years, and I wanted to do something really special for her birthday coming up. I decided I'd plan a surprise party and propose to her at the party in front of our friends and family. Ambitious, I know. The past few weeks I've been sneaking around organizing everything. I bought a ring, conspired with her best friend, and even had secret calls with her parents to get their blessing. I was so excited and sure it would be an epic surprise. The fuck up began with all the secretive behavior this required. I'm usually an open book, but suddenly I'm hiding my phone, texting people behind her back, and making up lame excuses to duck out of the house. Need to run an errand, bye! I thought I was being slick to avoid spoiling the surprise, but in reality I was acting sketchy as hell. Her best friend, who was helping me plan, messaged me something like, "Can't wait to see you to go over the final details," winky face, while my girlfriend was borrowing my phone to play a song. I snatched the phone back so fast and pretended it was a work message. Eye roll emoji. Mistake. At that point, I officially raised every suspicious red flag possible. I could feel her side-eyeing me the rest of the night. Over the next few days, I noticed my girlfriend getting quite anxious. I tried to play it cool, but I was often rushing off to take calls from the party venue or whispering to her friend about the party prep. She started asking me strange questions like, "Everything okay between us?" And I just nervously laughed it off, which only made me look guiltier. I was this close to the finish line, so I figured it would be fine once I pulled off the surprise, if I could avoid looking like a cheating jerk for 2 more days. Well, last Friday it all came crashing down. I came home and found my girlfriend in tears, holding my iPad. Pro tip: if you have Apple devices, they get all your messages. She had seen some of my message exchanges with her best friend about the plan and keeping it secret. One out-of-context line from me said, "I can't wait to finally do this. It's so hard to keep lying to girlfriend." I meant lying to her about why I was busy, but oh my god, out of context, it looked bad. She confronted me, sobbing, thinking I was having an affair with her best friend or something. She was shaking, and my heart absolutely dropped into my stomach, and I started panicking, trying to explain. It's not what you think. It took me a solid minute to get her to stop yelling and listen. I was literally on my knees, not exactly how I planned this, trying to calm her down and tell her the truth. I said, "I swear, I was lying because I'm planning a surprise for you. Please just open that closet." She was confused and still sniffle crying, and opened the closet, where I'd hid the birthday gift bag with a ring box inside. She turned back to me, and I just blurted out everything. The party, the proposal, how her friend and parents were in on it, and that I'm an idiot. She went from angry crying to shocked crying, and finally started happy crying once it clicked. I ended up officially proposing to her right then and there on our living room floor, because why not at that point? Not the grand romantic tableau I envisioned, but The ring made it onto her finger. Party emoji. She said yes, though lots of tears and a half laugh at how absurd the whole situation was. We just sat on the floor, hugging each other, both kind of trembling, her from the emotional roller coaster I put her on, and me from narrowly avoiding complete disaster. Later on, when things calmed down, she did kind of scold me. "You dummy, I really thought you were cheating. You scared me." Fair. I feel like a total jerk for putting her through that. We also had a laugh when she realized her best friend's wink emoji texts were about cake and decorations, not secret hookups. In the end, we decided to still go through with the birthday party that night and act like the proposal was a surprise in front of our friends. It was awkwardly hilarious because everyone but her thought she was genuinely surprised when I got down on one knee. They had no idea she'd found me out beforehand. We haven't told that part of the story to our families yet. That little fiasco is just between us and, well, now on the internet. Too long didn't read. I tried to plan a surprise birthday party and proposal for my girlfriend, but my secretive planning made her suspect I was cheating. She discovered some evidence and confronted me in tears. I had to reveal the surprise engagement ring and all earlier than intended to prove I wasn't a dirty cheater. Now she's my fiance, and I'm never planning a surprise like that again without a cover story. Hey, on the bright side, you have a very cute engagement story to tell it on the line. I mean, despite the fact there was probably a good hour or so where your girlfriend probably felt like she had her entire reality around her shattered, but beyond that, fun story. Maybe next time, though, make sure that your girlfriend's best friend isn't sending you messages that are along the lines of, "Can't wait to see you to go over the final details, winky face." Like, I get that those messages were like an attempt to be like as subtle as possible just in case she saw them, the surprise wouldn't be ruined, but y'all managed to create an entire novel's worth of potential assumptions with what you two were texting about without context because, oh boy. Out of context, buddy, you were in the doghouse. Good lord. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.